Okay, moving along to Pasuk Yud Beis over here. Rachav is in the middle of talking to the spies who she hid. And she says, "Va'ata," with an ayin, and now. Hishpeyu na li, swear to me, by Hashem. Swear to me by Hashem's name, ki asisi imachem chesed. That I did with you kindness. Rachav is saying, I hid you, I spared your life, your lives. Va'asisem gam atem im beis avi chesed, ונתתם לי os Emes. Do for me and my father's house kindness, and give me a truthful sign. What is the depth over here? What is this referring to? Let's go down to the Metzudas Dovid. Metzudas Dovid explains chesed. Yoski adayin lo asisem li toivim uma. Since you didn't do anything for me yet, essentially, do kindness with me. Os Emes, simin amisi. Laman yedu kol Yisrael, babal yishlachu banu yad. We have to make some sort of sign over here so that no one from the Jews will hurt me in any way, shape, or form. So she was asking for some sort of sign. The Radak over here goes through this a little deeper. HaChesed hu hatoiva sheyasa adam im achar. What is chesed? Kindness is defined as something that is good that someone does towards someone else. Any form of kindness in any way, shape, or form. That's what kindness is. She'ein lo gmul alav. V'hi asta imahem chesed. It's kindness that someone does for something else without strings attached, and he just does it. V'hi asta imahem chesed. How did Rachav provide a kindness for them? Well, that's simple, obviously. V'hachbiyam oisam, by hiding them. Ki heim lo gamluhu tova ad hine. They didn't do anything for her until this point. Lefikach amr lahem. That's why she told them, quote, "Vasisim gamatem im beis avi chesed." Do some form of kindness for me. V'lo amr, she didn't say imi, do for me chesed. Ki behechyoisem oisem hu emes. V'chova alehem. Ki hechyoiso osam. They were obligated, essentially, to do whatever she wanted, because she saved their life. She would say, no, I did kindness for you. I went above and beyond for you. You go above and beyond, not just for me, but for my family. Lefikach amra Allah him gam kim ve'asinu imach chesed emes. That's why in the next pasuk we're gonna see, in two psukim later, they're gonna say, oh yeah, we'll do kindness for you. Emes lahachyoisa. What is the truth that we're gonna do for you, as they said? Emes. That's referring to causing her to live, keeping her alive. V'chesed lehachayos beisavi. What's the chesed? That's the cherry on the cake. That's causing her family to survive. That's what the Radak explains over here. Nice idea from the Radak. There's actually a nice Malbim that's worthwhile to go through over here. Let's take a look at the Malbim over here. The Malbim writes, Amr Hagam ki acher shetavru as a yardin, utichyu kol neshama ati yishabu terem avartim es yardin, shahaya lehem rishus lakabel geirim hamashlimim imam. Right? They weren't supposed to keep anyone alive once they crossed the Jordan River. However, if they converted, maybe that would be a different story. So she was saying, look, we could get a conversion going. Now, Rachav didn't convert Shalol Lishma. She did it because she recognized Hashem. And this is what behind the scenes she was saying. Make a shvuah to me. Promise me, Hishbiu li shahanishba al derech chaveru im lo hasra. When you make a shvuah, You can't annul it. Make a shvua, a type of oath, a swear that can't be annulled. Hishbeu b'Hashem, do it in Hashem's name. She shavua chamura yoiser bihi yoiser b'shem hamaforish. Says the Malbim, when you make a swear and you use Hashem's name, that's a very severe and stringent type of swear. That's the type of swear I want you to do, Rachav said. Ki asisi chised v'hanishba adar chaviru b'shvil toy v'shiasalo in lo hasra. Says the Malbim that when you make a shvua, when you make this type of swear, when in this type of manner, it can't be annulled. And then what did she say? She says, "V'asisim right to loimer ikra shvua ani mavakish ba'avur beis avi ki hima'im tasu chesed." The reason why I'm making a swear is not for me; it's for my family. Ki lahem lo chayavosam tashlumi gemul. This is exactly what the Radak said. Rachav was saying, you have no obligation to make sure that my family doesn't get killed. Aval lechayos es nafshi zois chayvasam v'lo yikra chesed rak Emes. To make sure that I remain alive, that's not kindness. That's just truth. That's from the letter of the law. You got to do that. Let's make it din. V'enim mevakish michem rak shetitnu li ois Emes. All I'm asking you, give me a sign. And we're going to see exactly what that sign's going to be that causes her to get alive. That you had to do. Shia ois beni ubenechem, sign between me and you. Shetakiru beisi beis akivu, so you will recognize my house as to be the house that will remain untouchable, and you'll leave it standing. Ata parshemau chesed shasu in beis avi. Now she's saying, explain the type of kindness that you're going to demonstrate towards my family. That's the Malbim over here. That's what he comments over here on Pasuk Yud Beis. It's interesting. The art scroll, both this Radak and Malbim, in short, and this is a very significant pasuk over here because this comes on the heels of the previous pasuk in which she recognized Hashem, and these psukim are really tied together because her acceptance of Hashem's sovereignty signified her conversion to Judaism. And therefore she was exempt from the commandment that all of the Canaanites who opposed Israel must be killed. But she asked for mercy on her family. All right, so that's basically what we just saw. Now, just one note over here that I pointed out over here. The Gemara Megilah on Yud Daled says that Rachav actually converted and married Yehoshua. This is the Gemara that we've been quoting all over the place. But listen to this interesting lumdish akasha from Tosfos over here. Tosfos says, wait a second. Ha'ich nosfa. How is she halachically allowed to marry Yehoshua? Gemara in Yevamos Ayin Vav says, Da'afilu bigi ruson leis lahu chasnus. That they weren't allowed to marry people from Canaanites. So he basically says that Rachav, we have to say, wasn't part of and this is the language of Tosfos, Elishaina, Sarach Loimer Shalahaisim Meshiva Amamin, Elamishar Amamin, and therefore it was okay. In other words, Rachav wasn't part of one of the 7 nations which were prohibited to marry the Jews, and therefore that's how she was allowed to marry Yehoshua. So that technical point gets around any potential issue of her being forbidden to become Jewish. So that's what Tosfos over there says. There are ways that we got to look at over here. Yeah, we actually have to catch up on the ways from Yud Aleph. Ways on the previous pasuk. A short idea. He just says that once the people, the inhabitants of Yericho, they were so afraid of the Jews, it was almost like they started melting like wax. They just couldn't stand up for them. They had no strength. Shlo nishar behem shum koyach afilu his daktek L'nashoisem v'im kein lo yikamu od ruach tikva be'ish l'natzech eschem u'keila aretz mesur b'yedechem asher. They had absolutely zero chance. So the whole idea over here is that she told them all of this to make them happy and to say, "Oh, don't worry, you're going to be good in the land." Next mom always in our pasuk, she was saying, "Right now, you got to do for me kindness." And v'yesh bi'adechem tshuva maspekes v'raya lahashiv liyashul liyisrael. Or yesh li zechus lavakish eschem shebeshah shetavo lichvo sha'aretz tasilu oisi min hamavis. Same exact idea over here is what she's saying over here. Basically, what she was saying, is saying it in other words, don't be kafui tov, don't be an ingrate over here and forget everything that I do. But I'm making a shvua for my whole family. Okay, fine, that's pretty much what we saw. Let's just do. Okay, so that's pasuk yud beis. Okay, now what's happening in pasuk yud gimel? Pasuk yud gimel. She continues talking over here, and she says like this. She says, "V'hachyesem es avi." Oh, right. Okay, this is more details of the pasuk. Make sure that you let my father live, es imi. Make sure you let my mother live, es achai, brothers, ves achoisi, achoisai, my sisters. She wants the whole family. Ve'eis kol asher lahem, and everything that they have. V'tzaltem es nafshoisinu emavis, and you should save them from death over here. All right, so that ad kan lashoino are the words of Rachav. That's where Rachav stops talking over here. There might be a small mom Loez. Yeah, there's a small one over here. First she asked, make sure that you save their physical bodies and don't kill them. Subsequently, she asked, no, their um save their souls, meaning accept them like converts so that they'll merit the next world. Deep, deep idea of understanding this pasuk. Meaning it's a quick idea, but it's a deeper idea. Okay, and then we'll just do one more pasuk, and we'll stop at this one because the next one is going to be much longer. Okay, then your Dalit says like this: Vayomer la Hanoshim. Okay, so now finally the spies they responded to this, and they gave their response to what Rachav was saying over here. This is actually a one pasuk response. She had much more length about what she said over here. She says like this: Nafshenu tach techem. A very, very courageous statement. They said that our souls are instead of yours. This is like the story that we related before with the two friends when he was standing up for the other woman about to get killed. Our souls are instead of yours, lamos, even for death. Imlo tagidu estevarenu zeh. They said we're gonna go instead of you if you're not gonna say this. Imlo tagidu estevarenu zeh. If you're not gonna say these words over here, meaning we will be willing to give up our lives on behalf of you, but you can't tell this conversation to anyone else. Right? Only the family, of course. Then they continued and says, "V'haya b'teit Hashem lanu es haaretz, v'asuni yimach chesed v'emes." And Hashem will, uh, when Hashem gives us the land, then we will do with you chesed ve'emes. So it's interesting that it switches it over here, because before, what did we just say? She said, "Do for me." She said, "Emes v'chesed," right? Where was that? Yishavu liba Hashem ki asisi Amchem chesed v'asisim gami beis avi chesed. Oh no, okay, she said Emes last also. Okay, but anyways, okay, so they didn't switch it. But the point is that first they said chesed, then Emes. The Emes is no, you have to keep me alive. You have to keep Rachav alive. The chesed is for her family. All right, so that's the story over there. That's your Dalid. Let's take a look at the Metzudas. There's still no Rashi over here. Okay, the Metzudas over here comments like this. Imi yirtza l'shloyach bachem yad nimsor atzmeinu lemisa b'kedei lahatzil eschem. So someone who wants to send forth their hand, we will be willing to give up ourselves to death in order to save you. As ha'ois she'ameva keshes natat l'chach kiim tagidu l'galos ha'oz harbe yasu lahatzil atzmam. Right. They were saying, look, you know why you can't tell this conversation to anyone else? Because then they're gonna know of this sign everyone's gonna put it up on their house. Then we're not gonna be able to touch anyone. That wouldn't work because we gotta kill people over here. Everyone's supposed to get destroyed. So that's why. I mean, that's what Metzudas Dovid does. He gives us the Pashup shot over here. That's Pashup shot over here on the psukim as to what's going on, why she couldn't divulge this conversation and reveal it to anyone else. Comes along the Radak, David Kimchi over here, and he says in Tagidu, he's gonna say over here, can I get base Avi? Rishon Bevav, can I get base of Ki? אי אפשר שלא היה שם עמם בית אביה, כי לא הייסו יושב יחידי. או אפשר שאמר כנגד בית אביה ואף על פי שלא. Okay, fine. That's something else. Okay. Oh yeah, same exact thing, fine. The end of this Radak says the same exact thing as in Metzudas, that if she's going to tell the people about this, then they won't be able to save anyone. So that's the Radak over here. Okay, let's take a look. I think that there's actually the Ma'am always. Oh no, okay, the Ma'am always points out, right? Yeah, he just says Pashup shot. This whole conversation, remember, it was all happening on her rooftop. So just keep that in mind. Where was that? A Barbanel. Oh, the Malbim. Okay, we just wanted to finish up that Malbim. Let's see the Malbim over here on Yud Gimel, so small one. V'chesem es havi שיחיו יסום והרגו וסלתם נשנו סייכם אבל שלמותו עליכם להצילו לסונו לבנו הרגל ידי אכן וגם רמזו שעושים נשנו סייכם ממש ויוחו הרבוכנים ממש. Okay, yeah, this is the Malbim just saying make sure that no one else kills us when the war is going on from either side, meaning we get a special protection, and also make sure that their souls get saved of my family, aka spiritually, that the conversion goes smoothly. So that is the Malbim. Lastly, there's a Barbanel. Pull that up. Okay, the Barbanel is gonna be okay. So the beginning of Pasuk base. Sorry for the 10-second delay over here. Yeah, Yud. Yes, Yud. Print is so much worse than the actual physical print that I have. Okay, ועתה ישובו נא בהשם ויחרסם מסביב ויאמר לה אנשים. כוונת רחב בדבורים הייסה. The intention of Rachav over here was שכיוון שהיא בהיוס אישה אחס החיה שני אנשים. The Rachav was doing some mathematics over here. She was saying, look, the math is I'm one woman, I save two men. שאינו מהראוי שיהיה השכר שהמה שניהם יחיו איסה לבד. Look, the ratio is unfair. I save two people. I should get something else for that. It's a good point of the Radak. No one else mentioned this point of the Barbanel. No one else brought up this point. Aval kemo shahaya shehi hichya shneim, just like I save two people. Kach hima yichyu as base avia the aim heim rabim. So too you have to save my whole house. And she was saying, look, I don't have a husband. Remember, because she was Zona, and she didn't have any children. So then she said, instead of my husband, save my father, and instead of my children, save my brothers, because the mother and father, they're considered like one, and the brothers and sisters, all of them are considered like one. Very nice idea. And then she said at the end, save us from death, meaning I'm not asking you to save our physical property. I'm asking, just keep us alive. That's what she was saying. Okay, that's all Radak. Okay, so next time we will continue with the next pasuk over here.